I'm Justine and I'm a storyteller, so I'm going to tell you a story. And this story is from the Shinto tradition, so if anyone speaks Japanese, you're probably about to be really offended by some of my pronunciation, so I apologise up front. But I thought this was quite appropriate because it's not been that long since Easter and this has a bunny rabbit in it, so it's nice. Okay. A kononushi was a god. And he was handsome and clever, almost as impressive as the gentleman in the room. No, you're not going for the flattery then. The trouble for a kononushi was not only was he a god, so were his 80 brothers. And he was the youngest. So you can imagine that a kononushi wasn't getting all of the benefits that you might expect to get as a god. Now it just so happened that one day, his 80 brothers, they heard about a beautiful goddess. She had long dark hair, she had sweet soft skin, she had a heart of pure gold. She was almost as impressive as the ladies in the room. No, they're not going for the flattery either. So, the 80 brothers, they decided they were going to go on a journey. And they were going to woo this goddess, vie for her hand in marriage. And so Kononushi was very surprised when they turned around to him and said, Kononushi, you must come with us on our journey. And he said, really? Me? Because you normally leave me behind on this kind of thing. And they said, yes, because what you don't understand, Kononushi, is if we are to vie for this woman's hand in marriage, we are going to need an awful lot of male grooming products. And someone's got to carry them. So Kononushi decided that he quite fancied the adventure anyway. So he got his 80 bags of eyebrow tweezers and male moisturiser, whatever else it was these gods needed, and he followed them all the way to the land of Inaba. The problem was, with 80 bags of male grooming products, he soon fell behind them. So they reached the land of Inaba. And the island of... there was a bay called Cape Keta at the start of the land of Inaba. And the 80 brothers reached there first. And when they got there, they found, lying on the beach, was a poor little rabbit. And he was screaming in agony, much like that monkey might do if I were a rabbit. He was screaming, please help me, please help me, please help me! Now these 80 brother gods, they were a bit bored by this time in their journey. And so they decided that, just to amuse themselves, they'd play a trick on this rabbit. And they said, oh, of course we'll help you, rabbit. What you need to do to make yourself feel better, since all your skin has for some unknown reason been ripped off you, is that you need to jump in the seawater, bathe in that, make sure you get lots of good salt water in those sores, and then you need to run up to the highest mountain and stand there and let the cold winds dry you. And the rabbit said, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And he jumped straight into the seawater. And he went, the 80 brother gods, they went off on their journey towards the palace of Yagame, the beautiful goddess, sniggering to themselves. But the rabbit, he didn't give up because he thought maybe this is just the first bit, so he jumped out of the water and he ran all the way up to the highest mountain. He stood there in the cold wind. And of course, his sores just became cracked and dry, and he was even in more agony. And he came running down the mountain and go, oh, it still hurts, it still hurts. And he got all the way back onto the beach and he flopped himself out. Just as a kononushi, with his 80 bags of male grooming products, got to the beach as well. He threw them down and he lay down on the sand, and all he heard next to him, Kononushi looked and said, what the hell happened to you? And the rabbit said, sir, I think I'm paying for my sins. And the Kononushi said, well, what did you do? He said, well, I may as well tell you the whole sorry tale from the beginning. You see, the thing is, if you look out over that beautiful bay over there, you'll see this big island. And it's called Oki, and I lived over there. And to be honest with you, I wanted to get back here because the carrots over there, they just don't cut it. But I'm a rabbit, I can't swim. So, I stood on the shore and I looked out to sea, and I heard this music. It went da 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 da. And I don't know what that was about, but then I saw this fin. And then this shark popped up. And in that moment, I hatched a plan. And I looked out at the shark and I said, good morrow to you, Mr. Shark. And he said, good morrow to you, rabbit. And the rabbit said to a kononushi that he said to the shark, this could get complicated. I said to the shark, I just wanted to extend my sympathies to you, just to say, I feel really sorry. And the shark said, what? And I said, well, the thing creatures that's ever lived. So, you probably don't have many mates and that must be really lonely for you. So I just wanted to say, I feel really sorry for you. The shark said, no. No, and I've got lots of friends. Sharks are really sociable creatures. You Google it, you'll see. And the rabbit said, well, you see, the thing is, Mr. Shark, I'm sure you've got quite a few friends, but, I'm a rabbit. We breed like rabbits, and I've got thousands of friends. Surely you can't have as many friends as me. And the shark, he said to the rabbit, well, actually, I've got lots and lots of friends. No, hang on, I'll prove it. And the shark, he went underneath the water. And he did whatever sharks do to call their mates. I don't know, mobile or something. Anyway, as I looked out, said the rabbit to Okononushi, I saw suddenly lots of little shark heads pop up all over the ocean. And then, said the rabbit to Okononushi, I said to the shark, yeah, well, that looks like quite a few friends, but I'll tell you what, if I count you, then maybe we can settle it as to who has the most friends. I still think it's me, but, if you get all your mates to line up from, maybe this island that I'm on here all the way to that mainland over there, then I can just jump along your noses, and then I'll know. And so, said the rabbit to Okononushi, I said, off you go then. And Mr. Shark, he agreed, and he lined up all his friends, and I did this. Jump, 1, jump, 2, jump, 3, 99, 100. And then, said the rabbit to Okononushi, I got to the beach, and this is where I made my fatal flaw. I couldn't resist. I turned round and I said to the last shark, ha, I don't give a shit how many friends you've got, I just wanted to get here, I tricked you. Because I was feeling so pleased with myself. But I didn't realise quite how close to the edge of the beach I was, and that last shark, he took his big sharky teeth and he ripped all my fur off, and then I was here, lying in agony on the beach. And then, said the rabbit to Okononushi, these 80 gods came along, and I thought they're gods, they'll be bounteous and generous, and I asked for their help. And instead of asking them, they told me to bathe in the water. I ran up to the top of the mountain, and here I am, still in agony. Ow, 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 it hurts. Okononushi looked at the rabbit. And Okononushi said, you know what, mate? I think you've probably suffered enough. So what you need to do is you need to go and bathe in the river water. And then you come back here and you sit under this willow tree, and you rub yourself in the pollen, and you will feel much better. And the rabbit said, you sure? Okononushi said, yeah, I know what brothers like, seriously, it's fine. So the rabbit went off, he jumped in the river, he came back, he rolled in the pollen, and sure enough, he was healed. And the rabbit said to Okononushi, I tell you what, I may just be a simple rabbit, but I've got this tiny little bit of magic and I'm going to use it just for you. Now I happen to know that you're going to see the beautiful goddess, Yagami. And I happen to know that all those brothers of yours, they're going to be posing and vying for her hand in marriage. But I promise you, if you go there, when she sees you, she's going to agree to marry you and none of them. And Okononushi said, really? Wow! Thanks, rabbit! And he picked up all his 80 bags of male grooming products and he headed all the way to that palace. And when he got to that palace, her throne room was full of 80 gods doing this and this and this, going, I'm the best, you have to marry me. And there was Yagami sat on a throne at the front going, really? And then, in walks Okononushi. And he looks her straight in the eye. And he falls for her straight away, his heart leaps, and he walks straight up to her, and he says to her, Goddess Yagami, words have not yet been invented to describe your beauty, but when they are, I will run and I will shout them from the highest rooftop so that everyone in the world may know. Please, will you marry me? And Yagami looked into his eyes and saw that he was kind and saw that he was good. And she said, yes, I will. Now get these idiots out of my throne room! Now I would love to tell you that Yagami and Okononushi got married and lived happily ever after. But there was obviously the small matter of the revenge of those 80 brother gods. But that's a story for another day. Thank you very much.